Ron Paul has been a one of the leaders on, auditing the Fed or just abolishing the Fed completely. A lot of people don't understand that the Fed isn't part of the federal government. How do you feel about what the Fed is doing? If they're taking our money, loaning it out to the countries or whatever. Their role in this whole system. How should that be addressed?
Well, I agree with Ron Paul. The Fed should be audited, and that audit should be the precursor to closing the Fed down. Since its establishment in 1913, I believe it was, with the Federal Reserve Act, it has been found that they've had their hands in many of the financial problems in this country. And with that in mind, that may be an example of why they don't want to be audited. Then the truth may come out, how bad they do operate. With that said, it is a private corporation. I understand that, but I don't feel that the United States government should be turning over the monetary policy of our nation to a private government or to a private industry or a corporation to operate and dictate to us what our federal financial and fiscal policy should be. Now, the Constitution clearly lays out in, I believe it's Section 1, Article 8, or Article 1, Section 8, I'm sorry, that the Congress has that power, not a private corporation. The founders clearly laid it out.
Let's say, there is an audit and there is a vote, to abolish it. How do you address all the money that's all over the place that has gotten scattered and loaned again, and China right now has got a lot of our money. They own a lot of assets. How do you propose to address something like that to get it, to get us back on track?
Well, first off, the world is interconnected now. And it was by design. In my view, it was by design that they would interconnect the world's financial and economic systems. And it's causing a problem right now in Europe. Greece is in turmoil. And what happens now in Greece is that their notes are going to come up and due and payable. Now, France or Germany, I can't remember which one it is their primary stakeholder in Greece. They're going to ask for their notes to be paid. They're going to default. Greece will default. Then France or Germany, whatever country it is, their notes will come up to default. And then it's going to be a systematic domino effect from Greece to France to Germany to the UK, who owns Germany's notes, and then over to us. And then beyond us, it will go to China. And by the way, China just sold a great deal of the notes that they had for United States debt to Japan. So now it's starting to cycle all the way around the world, and all they're doing is passing paper. And in my view, that's probably one of the biggest problems in this world right now with the financial industry, the credit default swaps, the derivative market. That's what they were doing there. They were passing paper from one entity to another, and eventually it would collapse. Now, to correct this, I think if we come back to a really sound fiscal policy in our nation, we bring back our own control of money to our nation. And many people would say that the dollar is dead. I don't think so. If we control our own fiscal policy and we start backing it with something other than more paper, because what we are now is considered a fiat currency, we will be able to gain better control and strengthen our dollar. Start paying off some of this debt. The more debt we pay off, the stronger the dollar's going to become. And by the way, that's also interlinked into other nations as well. If they use the dollar as their commodities or uh, their monetary base, the stronger we make it, the better off it is for them. England right now is in a great deal of trouble because their dollars are declining in value, and that is a bad thing for them. And I believe we should work in concert with other like-minded countries that have a fiscal problem, for one, but they also have a view of economics and fiscal policy similar to ours. We should work together with these countries. With that, we can gain control. When we have China dictating to us how to operate in a market system, a free market enterprise system, that's a problem. They're a communist nation. Why is it that we are being told by communists how to dictate and operate within our own system? They obviously learned something. I don't think it's fair to the American public. We have a stake in this nation of what goes on in our nation. It appears that the politicians don't think so. They seem to think that they know better than we do, but I'm here to tell you right now, when it comes down to the American public, they know better. They know how to tighten their belts. They know how to not spend when they don't have the money to spend. They know how to say, hey, it's time to stop. And that's where we're at right now. Now, I believe very, very strongly that we have some very, very difficult decisions to make in this country right now. And I don't think that politicians are going to be the ones that are going to make those decisions. It's going to ultimately come down to the people. They'll put the people into office that will support their decision-making process. But right now, the politicians in control of monetary policy, when they really don't control it at all, they more or less outsourced it to the Fed, which is a huge problem right now with jobs. We've outsourced all of our jobs, a lot of jobs in this country. Well, look at the lesson and the guidance that we have from our own government. They're showing us they're willing to outsource their own responsibility. So it must be okay.